Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's video, historical fact. Resulting in around 300,000 casualties, the Battle of the Somme is considered one of the bloodiest and deadliest conflicts in the First World War and in human history. The battle, which was fought between British and French forces versus German forces, kicked off on July 1st, 1916, and ended on November 18th of that same year. Tonight's video is Sabaton, 1916. Without further delay, let's go. By the way, the original video was the one requested, so that's the one I'm doing.
"16 years old when I went to the war to fight for a land fit for heroes. God on my side and a gun in my hand, chasing my days down to zero. And I marched, and I fought, and I bled, and I died, and I never did get any older. But I knew at the time that a year in the line was a long enough life for a soldier. And we added 2 years to our ages, eager for life and ahead of the game, ready for history's pages. And we brawled and we fought and we fought till we stood 10,000 shoulder to shoulder. Our thirst for the hun, we were food for the gun, and that's what you are when you're soldiers.
Let's go ahead and pause it here. 16 years old when I went to the war to fight for a land fit for heroes. God on my side and a gun in my hand, chasing my days down to zero. And I marched and I fought and I bled and I died. And I never did get any older. But I knew at the time that a year in the line was a long enough life for a soldier. Going to war, there are no guarantees that you will come back. That's a conscious decision that we make when we sign up. We all volunteered and we wrote down our names and we added 2 years to our ages. Eager for life and ahead of the game, ready for history's pages. And we brawled and we fought and we whirled till we stood 10,000 shoulder to shoulder. A thirst for the Hun, we were food for the gun, and that's what you are when you're soldiers. See, making that voluntary decision to fight for your country, English, US, British, French, whatever, it's a tough decision to make because you never know what the outcome will be. Yeah. I really like that it's a slower, more ballad-esque song. I think that this really showcases the variety that Sabaton is capable of. the uniforms are very period appropriate. So obviously they've done their research. I also like the fact that this kind of brings all the different branches together in kind of this memorial walk. Sabaton at the front, leading the way, and I think it's a very patriotic tribute. Let's go ahead and finish this off, and then we'll talk about it. That last verse was really hard. Um, the visuals were pretty accurate. I heard my friend cry, and he sank to his knees, coughing blood as he screamed for his mother. And I fell by his side, and that's how we died, clinging like kids to each other. And I lay in the mud, and the guts and the blood, and I wept as his body grew colder. And I called for my mother, and she never came, though it wasn't my fault, and I wasn't to blame, and the day's not half over, and 10,000 slain. And now there's nobody remembers our names, and that's how it is for a soldier. True story. 2 weeks before I joined to go to boot camp, I had hair down, well, past my shoulders, and I swore I'd never join the military. And then 2 weeks later, I did, and my life changed. It was a decision I made, a choice I made. I don't know if you guys saw the tribute to Lemmy that the guy was holding, Lemmy being the lead singer for Motorhead. But a lot of mental health and drug-related issues, my drug-related issues, came from my service. And it's a struggle. It's when you get out of the military and you get lost because there's no routine to your day anymore, and you remember the fallen that you served with, and you remember your friends that aren't coming home, people that were close to you that you grew close to, and the next time you see them is at their memorial. I mean, it's what happens. Let's go ahead and finish. 1st of July 1916, British volunteers with no battlefield experience ran into a hailstorm of machine gun fire at the Battle of the Somme. They were friends, neighbors, relatives, and workmates from mostly northern communities, enlisted with the promise to be able to fight alongside one another. The British Army suffered 57,470 casualties to gain just 3 miles of territory. One man was killed every 4.4 seconds in the largest loss of life suffered by the Army in a single day. "19,000 Englishmen were killed before noon, a whole generation destroyed in 3 hours. Entire towns in northern Lancashire and South Yorkshire had a whole generation of men completely wiped out." By the end of the battle, casualties from both sides topped 1 million, with more than 300,000 killed for 6 miles of ground. Those are some heavy statistics. We just talked about this in Tom's video too. You know, cherish those that you call friends, that you associate with, because you never know when you'll get to talk to them again, if you will. last time I paused for real, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it out. But I like the fact that it wasn't just soldiers. And I didn't even realize that Motorhead was in the video, um, which is why the Lemmy tribute hits even harder. Um, that man went hard for years and years and years and years. He went until he couldn't. And I respect the hell out of that. But the fact that there were punk rockers and even Sabaton fans in the video as well just shows what a diverse group of people are affected by war. It isn't just the soldiers. There's families at home waiting for them to come home. There's, friends and supporters and sympathizers that they don't always get to say goodbye. That was heavy. Very well done. And I saw the cello was done by Tina Guo again. And I really, really like the way she plays. It's absolutely beautiful. Talk about the music. The guitar solo was really pretty in the middle of the battlefield. Just kind of gave it emphasis. The lyrical structure was very well done, very deep, very insightful. I haven't found a Sabaton song yet that I don't like. And I don't know whether to be grateful that I'm getting to discover them with you guys or disappointed that I hadn't discovered them to this point. A little bit of both, but I'm definitely enjoying watching them with you guys. All of that being said, I want to thank you guys for being here. It means the world to me. Just know I love you. I care. You're not alone. Have a good night.